Om Bhadram Karneਭ्यः शृणुयाम देवाः Bhadram पश्येमाक्षभिर्यजत्राः स्थिरैरङ्गैः तुष्टुवागुंसस्तनूभिः यशेम देवहितं यदायुः स्वस्ति न इन्द्रो वृद्धश्रवाः स्वस्ति नः पूषा विश्ववेदाः स्वस्ति नस्तार्क्ष्यो अरिष्टनेमिः स्वस्ति नो बृहस्पतिर्दधातु ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः। अथ हैनं कौसल्यश्च आश्वलायनः पप्रच्छ भगवन् कुत एष प्राणो जायते कथमायात्यस्मिन् शरीरे आत्मानं वा प्रविभज्य कथं प्रातिष्ठते केन उत्क्रमते कथं बाह्यमभिधत्ते कथमध्यात्ममिति तस्मै सहोवाच अतिप्रश्नान् पृच्छसि ब्रह्मिष्ठोऽसीति तस्मात्तेऽहं ब्रवीमि आत्मन एष प्राणो जायते यथा एषा पुरुषेच्छाया एतस्मिन्नेतदाततम् मनोकृतेन आयात्यस्मिन् शरीरे यथा सम्राडेव अधिकृतान् विनियुङ्क्ते एतान् ग्रामान् अधितिष्ठस्वेति एवमेव एष प्राणः इतरान् प्राणान् पृथक् पृथगेव सन्निधत्ते। The third student asks for some more details regarding prana, and the third question has 5 subdivisions. How does prana originate? How does it enter the body? And how does it divide into 5-fold functions? How does it get out of the body? And how does it sustain the individual as well as the total creation? Of which 2 questions have been answered. The origin of prana is said to be Brahman or Atman itself. Atmanaha esha prano jayate. And incidentally, the teacher makes it clear that the Srishti is mithya by comparing prana into chaya. That chaya comparison is important because it is the pramanam for showing the apparent creation. Rajju sarpavad srishtihi natu satyam. And how does the prana enter the body? That is the second sub-question, for which the answer was given. Manokritena ayatyasmin sharire. mind representing the karmas, especially the prarabdha karma. The prarabdha karma is indicated by the word mind because karma is born out of sankalpa or kama. Both are same. Sankalpa and kama are the same. Only the intensity varies. There is only a difference of degree, no difference of content. Sankalpa is mild and kama is intense. Sankalpa is sprout, kama is plant. So thus karma is born out of sankalpa or kama, which in its turn is born out of manaha, the mind, and therefore mind's grandson is karma. To put in our language, mind's child is sankalpa or kama, and its child is karma. Therefore here mind refers to its grandchild karma. And therefore manokritena ayatyasmin sharire means karma kritena, punya papa rupa karma kritena, punya papa rupa prarabdha karma kritena asmin sharire ayati pranaha iti dvitiyasyapi uttaram dattam. Then the third question is, how does the prana divide itself into fivefold functions? And for that the answer was given in the fourth mantra, where the prana was compared to a samrat, an emperor, who delegates his power into various ministers, and each minister takes one portfolio. In the same way, prana also delegates its power into four ministers: apana, vyana, udana and samana. And each one is given a particular role also. Etan graman adhitishthasva. The emperor will command these ministers. You supervise or you govern, you preside over such and such grama. In the same way, prana also commands these four apana vyanadi functions to govern or function in particular places. And having delegated the powers to these four prana, the prana it takes a function for itself. The four ministers as well as the prime minister or chief minister, that itself takes a function. That was what we saw in the last class. Itaran pranan, apana vyanodana samanakhyan itaran pranan prithak prithageva, distinctly, without overlapping, without confusion, without too much reshuffling in between. That some ministers forgot what portfolio they were in, it seems. So without any such problem, distinctly, doubtlessly, clearly, sannidhate. Sannidhate means it allots, it appoints, we can take. Okay. In the case of the example, the ministers take up the villages. In the take of apana, vyana, etc., what part of the body they maintain? That will be the next question. So what are the villages of the body which are supervised by the pancha prana? That is going to be said in the fifth mantra, which we will read now. Payupasthe panam, chakru चक्षुश्रोत्रे मुखनासिकाभ्यां प्राणः स्वयं प्रातिष्ठते मध्ये तु समानः एष ह्येतद्धुतमन्नं समं नयति तस्मादेताः सप्तार्चिषो भवन्ति. So this is all extension of the answer to the third question. What is the third question? Katham swatmanam pravibhajya pratisthate. So that is being continued here also. Previous mantra example has been given drishtantaha. In this mantra it is darshtantaha, the original. So the position of the constituency of each one of the prana is being pointed out. Payupasthe apanam. So the place that is taken care of by the apanam is payu and upastham, the organ of excretion and reproduction. Payupasthe. Payupasthayoho irukkanam, but it is samahara dvandva for those grammar students. Payushcha upasthancha tayoho samaharaha payupastham tasmin. That is, in the place of payu and upastham, apanam pratisthate. We have to supply the verb apanam pratisthate. The apana vayu takes care of, presides over that particular part of the body, because the function of the apana is removing the waste, excretion, and therefore it occupies that position. Now, what about pranaha? Chakshusrotre pranaha. The position of the prana is the chakshuhu and shrotram. The eyes and ears are in general the face, the mukham. Because pranaha is the Prime Minister. Appo Uttar Pradesh, top Delhi la dana position irukka mudiyum. So therefore all well planned only. So therefore chakshusrotre pranaha. And what is it doing? Mukha nasikabhyam nirgachan. We have to supply nirgachan. Coming out, in and out through mukham and nasika. That is, breathing process is mentioned here. So in the form of inhalation and exhalation, the prana comes out through the mouth and nostrils, and similarly prana goes inside through the mouth and nostrils. Thus, going in and out through the mouth and nostrils, the prana occupies the face. This is the swayam pratisthate. So therefore the word swayam is used because prana is an emperor. The emperor itself takes up a portfolio. So with this, the second division is over. Now comes the third. Madhyetu samanaha. So the samana prana, which is the digestive function, samikarana karaha samanaha, we have seen in Tattva Bodha. So samanaha madhye pratisthate. Illathalam pratisthate chetikana. Pratisthate means what? Presides over, rules over, governs. Madhya means the stomach. Madhya Pradesh is ruled over by the samanaha, because that is the digestion portion, and a little bit more details about samana is given, because very important, central portion, So, yeshaha etat hutam annam samam nayati. Why it is called samanaha? Yeshaha samanaha. This samana prana samam nayati. Samam nayati means divides equally. What? Hutam annam. So the food that has been offered into. So the word hutam is used to indicate that it is something like a homagnihi. And after all, digestive prana is compared to Vaishwanara Agnihi alone. And therefore into the samana, the Vaishwanara Agni, the annam is hutam, and this hutam annam, it divides into various nutrition, and without any partiality, it distributes the food to all states equally, whether it is ruled over by the same party or opposition party. Without any problem, it is equally distributed. Whenever problem, extra food, extra nutrition, all those things are to be done. And nanna rule pandra. Therefore, samam nayati. Okay? And when oblations are put into the fire, what happens? The flames come out. And here also, the flames come out in the form of 7 tongues. Tasmat sapta archishaha bhavanti. Because of the activation of the samana prana. And how is it activated? By offering food. The 7 flames in the form of the 7 sense organs become well kindled. So here 7 flames refer to the 7 sense organs. 7 sense organs, you may be shocked, but we have seen it in the Mundaka. Sapta prana prabhavanti tasmat. Sapta prana prabhavanti tasmat. Saptartishat samidat sapta jihvaha. Sapta ime lokayeshu. Eshu pranaha charanti prana guhashayan nihita sapta sapta. In Mundakopanishad it came. So 7 sense organs means the 2 eyes, the 2 nostrils, the 2 ears, and the tongue, the mouth. They are 3 into 2 plus 1. These are the 7 mentioned here. And they are called flames because they are the jnanagnihi, prakashancha pravrittincha, jnanamevacha pandava. Therefore, there only the flame of knowledge, the flame of awareness is manifest. And these sense organs will function well only when food is there. Otherwise, the eyes also become dull, ears also become dull, everything becomes dull. As in Chandogya Upanishad, the example is given. The student is asked to fast to show that annam alone is catering to all of these sense organs. And he is not able to chant. Why? He even forgets the mantras that he had learned. And therefore, it's a very beautiful concept. Here is the Agni, and food is kindling the Agni. And as a result of this, all sense organs become aglow, which is nothing but the Sapta Archishaha, the same tongues of that Agni. Kali Karali cha Manojavacha Sulohitaya cha Sudhumravarna Pulingini Vishwadruchi cha Devi Lelayamana iti Sapta Jikvaha. There also 7 has been mentioned again in Mundakopanishad. Anyway, Tasmat. Tasmat means what? Anna Homat. Because of the offering of the Annam, Yetaha Saptarchishaha, these 7 flames of perceptual powers, Bhavanti, become active. So that Samana Prana's village is in the middle. Then what about Vyana, etc.? Vyana and Udana have to be mentioned. Prana, Apana, Samana are over. 2 more are left out, which will be said in the 6th mantra. We will read. Hridihyesha Atma Atra etadekashatam nadinam Tasam shatam shatamekaikasyam Dvasaptatir dvasaptatihi Pratishakha nadi sahasrani bhavanti Asu vyanascharati. So the position of Vyana is going to be the whole body. Transport minister, and I don't know what minister. Whatever be the minister who constantly keeps touring. Now everybody tours anyway. So whatever be. So Vyana is all over the body and it moves through the nadis, and these nadis are pervading all over the body. So Vyana is all pervading, flowing through the nadis which are pervading all over the body. And all these nadis are connected to Hridayam. And therefore the teacher wants to begin from the Hridayam onwards. So he will say there is a Hridayam, and from the Hridayam nadis travel all over the body, and through these nadis Vyana is moving about. This is the essence of the mantra. For that the Hridaya has to be introduced first. Hridayathilendu Nadi, Nadilendu Vyana. And Hridaya is going to be defined as the place of the Atman. Even though here there is no relevance for Atman at all. We have no discussion of Atman at all. We should not wonder how suddenly comes Atman without any relevance. Here Atman is to indicate the Hridaya, and from Hridaya nadis, and in the nadis Vyana flows. Therefore the teacher says, Yeshaha Atma Hridi Vartate Tishtati. So this Atma, Aparoksha Atma, Aham Pratyaya Vishaya Atma, Ekatma Pratyaya Sarabhuta Atma. Okay, I, the self, Adpuram. Eshaha Atma Hridi Vartate. Hridi means Antahkarane. And according to the scriptures, the position of the Antahkaranam is Hridayam only. Hridayam means the actual heart alone. Because some people say there is a left hand side heart, there is a right hand side imaginary heart, etc. But according to Shankaracharya, he takes Hridayam as the physical heart alone. In the Taittiriya Bhashyam, in 2-3 Bhashyams it comes. In the Taittiriya Upanishad, Saya Yesho Ontar Hridaya Akashaha Tasmin Nayam Purusho Manomayaha. There in the Bhashyam, when Shankaracharya defines the Hridayam, he says that which is seen when the animal is cut inside the chest, that Mamsa Pindam is seen. Thus, according to Shankaracharya, Hridayam means the physical heart alone, in which alone the subtle antahkaranam is located. And therefore, Hridaye antahkaranam vartate. Hridayam is the physical part, the antahkaranam is the subtle part. Just as we have got the golakam and indriyam, the golakam is the physical part and the indriyam is located in the golakam. Similarly, the golakam of the mind is Hridayam. Thus, Hridayam becomes golakam, manaha becomes the indriyam, antarindriyam. Okay. So then why does the teacher say Hridi Atma? He must be saying Hridi Antahkaranam Dane Solanam. Okay. Hridi Antahkaranam Vartate. In the physical heart, the subtle mind is supposed to be located, and in the subtle mind, Chaitanyam is manifest, and therefore it is said the Atma is in the Hridayam. So therefore, in the Hridayam, the Antahkaranam. In the Antahkarana, the Chidabhasa. And therefore, it is said, Hridi Antahkarane Chidabhasa Rupena Atma Upalabhyate. Okay. And from this Hridayam, there are many nadis emerging. This is Vyanathu Arambikara. Okay, that's why he said Atma has no relevance here. From Atma, your attention must be turned to Hridayam. And from this Hridayam, what is there? Atra. Atra means Hridaye. Nadi nam etad ekashatam bhavati. Bhavati to be understood. There is 100 nadis. So nadis, it is very difficult to translate the nadi itself. Okay, 100 nadis are there, and in other Upanishads, generally 101 are mentioned. If you remember Kathopanishad, Shadam Chatam Cha Eka Cha Hridayasya Nadyaha Tasam Murdhanam Abhinisritaika Tayordhvamayan Namritatvameti Vishwanganya Utkramane Bhavanti Shatancha Ekacha. Therefore, generally 101 are mentioned. Here 100 is mentioned. So Shankaracharya writes, you add one more. For 100 na 101 nartam. Perhaps for the sake of round figure, the Upanishad has said 100 ekashatam vartate. 100 nadis are there. They are all supposed to be pradhana nadyaha, the main one. And thereafterwards, tasam, that should be next sentence. Here there is no full stop and all, but we should know where the full stop comes. The next sentence comes, tasam ekaikasyam shatam shatam bhavati. Tasam, of those 100 nadis, ekaikasyam, each one of them will have shatam shatam, will have 100 sub-nadis, subdivision. That means the main one will branch into 100 subdivision. So shatam shatam bhavati. Therefore 100 into 100, 10,000. Or 100 into 101 pota, Some people have calculated also. In some books you will find 72 crore, 72 lakhs, 20,000 and so many number come. I don't want to have that statistics and all. It is enough that we know it is plenty. Okay. This is the second subdivision. And thereafterwards, next sentence, you have to supply again Tasam Ekaikasyam. That's Randandharam Potukanam. Tasam Ekaikasyam. Of those 10,000 nadis, Ekaikasyam, each one of them becomes Dvasaptatihi Dvasaptatihi Pratishakha Nadi Sahasrani Bhavanti. The Sahasrani should be joined with Dvasaptatihi. Dvasaptatihi Dvasaptatihi Sahasrani. Each one of them is divided into 72,000. Sahasrani na Airam. Dvasaptatihi na 72. Each one of them is subdivided into. Each one of the 10,000 is subdivided into 72,000, 72,000, known as Pratishakha Nadi. So thus, first 100, then each one of them is divided into 100, and each one of the divided portion is divided into 72,000. And all these things, capillaries, aorta, vein, and thereafterwards subdivision and all. Even according to medical science, the blood vessels that are running in our system, if you take the total distance, it will be 1.5 lakh kilometers. Can you imagine? So, and the blood is, the heart is pumping the blood into all of them daily 72,000 liters or something like that they say. So therefore, if it is 1.5 lakh kilometers, then the nadis with its subdivision must be so many. And therefore it is said, Bhavanti. Asu Vyanascharati. Into all these nadis, Mukhya nadis, Amukhya nadis, Pratishakha nadis, in all these nadis, Vyanaha Charati. Adha namku relevance. Vyanaha Charati ingradha namku vandade. That number and all other things are not very much relevant. So that's what is the position of Vyana? The whole body. So that's the fourth prana has been mentioned. Now one more is left out, that is Udanaha. Mantra number 7. Atha ekaja urdhva udanaha. Punyena punyam lokam nayati. Papena papam. Ubhabhyameva manushya lokam. In some books, Upabhyam is there. In some Ramakrishna Mission books, Ubhabhyam, rendum bhava irkanam. Ubhabhyam. If it is that way only, no problem. If it is Upabhyam, correct into bha. So what is the position of Udana? The position of Udana is not directly mentioned in this mantra, but from this mantra we have to understand the position of Udana is Urdhvaha, the upper portion of the body, the neck and above. Because it is said, Udana is the one which takes the prana above, and since it has to disappear from the body at the time of death, it is waiting readily here. Thus, the position of Udana is supposed to be the neck and above portion, Urdhvaha. So, supplying this, the third question is answered. So we have to see the order of questions also. What is the third question? Atmanam va pravibhajya katham pratisthate. And for that, the position of each prana has been mentioned. Finally, the position of Udana is the Urdhva Deshaha. And the function of Udana is what we have seen. It is the reversing system, like vomiting, etc. And that is during the normal life. And at the time of death, the Udana's function is to uproot the prana from the physical body. And Udana is the power behind the travel after death. So thus the Udana's function and position is not mentioned directly. We have to supply and close the third part of the question. And now the fourth question is answered in this mantra, seventh mantra. What is the fourth question? Chena utkramate. Through which marga the prana escapes from the body? Through which marga the prana escapes from the body? That question is answered in this shloka. Atha ekaya nadya. So the prana escapes through one important nadi known as Sushumna nadi. And this is mentioned from the standpoint of Upasaka, because the topic is Upasana. But this cannot be a generalized statement, because in the case of other people, it will not be Sushumna nadi, because in the Kathopanishad it has been said, Vishwang anyaha utkramane bhavanti. The utkramanam will be through the Sushumna nadi only when the loka is a higher loka. If it is adholoka, what can Sushumna nadi do? And therefore, if it is adholoka or manushya loka itself, the Sushumna nadi cannot be useful. Here, the topic being Upasana, the Upasaka's prana escapes through the Sushumna, and therefore it is said Ekaya. Eka referring to Sushumna. Okay. And who takes this prana? Who is the driver? It is said Urdhvaha Udanaha Ekaya Nadya Nayati. So the Urdhvaha Udanaha means Urdhva Deshastha Udanaha. So the Udana occupying the upper part of the body, Nayati leads the entire prana to various lokas. So the Udana occupying the upper part of the body leads the entire prana to higher lokas. And prana means along with other sukshma sharira organs. Prana being the main part, it is said prana is taken, and along with prana all the antakaranam, indriyam, etc. will go away. And that is the idea is, it will be clarified again later, that at the time of death, the other functions of the body, other expressions of prana like apana, vyana, udana will be absorbed into the udana prana. That's why digestion becomes weaker. It will be slowly merging into udana. And excretion becomes weaker. Again it merges into udana. Thus, breathing becomes difficult. It merges into udana. Thus Udana absorbs all the other 4 pranas into itself, and therefore the reversing system becomes powerful. Enna potalum pohadu. Prana prayana sapaye kaphavata pittaihi kanta avarodhana vidau. Everything is stopped. Roko. Strike will come. And then all the other pranas are merged into Udana, and then Udana takes the whole of them through the Sushumna Nadi. Therefore, Urdvaha Udanaha Ekaya Sushumnaya Nadya Nayati leads to which lokam? It all depends. Therefore, Punyena Punyam lokam Nayati. Through Punyam, it leads to Punyaloka. Punyaloka means what? Swargaloka. If the fuel happens to be Punyam, or if the visa happens to be Punyam, then Punyalokam. Papena Papam. So Papena Papam Nayati, to be supplied. Through the Papam, it leads to Papaloka. Papaloka means what? Narakam, lower birth. So Punyalokam refers to Swarga. Papalokam refers to Naraka. And Ubhabhyam. Renduma chenda enna pandrathu? Ubhabhyam Manushya So through a mixture of Punya and Papa, it leads to Manushya Loka. That's why if somebody asks how is our life, it is a mixture. Sometimes it becomes hellish also, and sometimes it is heavenly life when everything goes well. So Manushya Lokam Nayati. And this is the answer to Kena Utkramate. And what is the precise answer? Sushumnaya Nadya Utkramate. It goes through Sushumna Nadi. Okay, with this, that question also is answered. Then comes the last part of the question. What is that question? Katham Bahyam Abhidhatte Katham Adhyatmam. So how is the prana sustaining the cosmos at the samashti level, and how does the same prana sustain the individual at the vyashti level? Two manifestations of prana, the vyashti manifestation and samashti manifestation, supporting the vyashti creation and samashti creation, which is going to be said in the 8th mantra. Adityoha vai bahyah pranaha udayatyesha hyenam chakrusham pranam anugrinhanaha Prithvyam ya devata Saisha purushasya apanam avashtabhya Antaraya dakashaha Sasamanaha Vayurvyanaha. So the external and the internal manifestations or expressions of prana are in Shen. The internal expressions are already known. They are prana, apana, vyana, udana and samana alone. So one part of the question is already known. What is that? How does prana support the subjective creation in the form of fivefold functions? It sustains the subjective or vyashti. Katham adhyatmam abhidatte. How does the prana sustain the adhyatma, the vyashti? For that the answer is already known, and that is prana apana vyana udana samana rupena. In the form of the fivefold physiological functions, the prana sustains. But here, the new idea mentioned is corresponding to each subjective manifestations, there is an objective manifestation also that is going to be mentioned. What are they? I will just mention them, then we can see the mantra. Corresponding to the prana subjectively, at the objective level, it is Aditya Devata. Corresponding to the prana, the subjective manifestation, the objective, the macrocosmic manifestation is Aditya. So, prana rupena adhyatmam abhidatte, Aditya rupena adhidaivam or bahyam abhidatte. Abhidatte na support nartham. Similarly, corresponding to the apana which is internal, the external manifestation is Prithvi. And therefore, apana rupena adhyatmam abhidatte, Prithvi rupena bahyam abhidatte. It sustains the external. And then the third one is samanaha. And corresponding to that, it is the intermediary akasha, is the objective or external expression. We call it as antarakasha. Antarakasha means the intermediary space, otherwise known as antariksham also. So this is corresponding to samana. Therefore, prana adityaha, apana prithvi, samana antarakashaha. Then fourthly, the vyanaha is the subjective power, and corresponding to that in the external universe, it is vayuhu, sarvagata vayuhu. The vayu which is flowing everywhere, and internally vyana also is flowing everywhere. And fifthly, the subjective expression is udanaha, which sustains at individual level. Correspondingly, at the macrocosmic level, it is the Agni, or here it will be called Tejaha. Adutha mantrathil dhaan solla pora. But it is better that we remember the 5 subjective expressions and the 5 objective expressions. So the 5 objective ones are the new information we get. Adityaha, Prithvi, Antariksham, Vayuhu and Agnihi. These are the 5-fold expressions of prana, sustaining the external world. Now you see this mantra. Adityoha vai Bashyaha pranaha. So the Adityaha, the sun god, is the external expression of prana, Eshaha udayati. Okay, that we can see later. Adityo havai bhashyaha pranaha. You can put even full stop, one sentence is complete. So he is referring to Eshaha pranaha. Subjectively it is expressing as respiration, but in the objective world it is called Adityaha. And incidentally, he is making another reference also, that between the subjective and objective, the Vyashti and Samashti, Vyashti is blessed by the Samashti. So, moon statement. The Vyashti prana blesses the Vyashti individual. The Samashti prana blesses the Samashti creation. This we have said. Vyashti prana blesses the Vyashti individual. Samashti prana blesses the Samashti creation. But in between another statement is given. The Vyashti prana itself gets its power from where? Samashti. About vertical line where Vyashti to Vyashti, Samashti to Samashti. And the third statement is the Vyashti prana itself is blessed by the Samashti. Okay, Prashna Upanishad ore Prashna marko. Malayalam, in Malayalam, Prashna means problem. Allata Prashna mayalonu. So, I hope it is not Malayalam Prashna. Okay. That's very interesting. Okay. So, he says, Yeshaha Adityaha Udayati. This Aditya Devata is rising. And is not only is blessing the Samashti Prapancha, but it is also blessing the Vyashti Prana. Therefore it is said, Chakshusham Pranam Anugrinnanaha. Blessing the Chakshusha Pranaha, the Prana located in the face. Chakshusrotre we have seen before. So therefore Chakshusham Pranam, which refers to the here individual Prana, blessing the individual Prana. And here Chakshusham is specially mentioned because the eyes can perceive only in the presence of the light. Even though Aditya is blessing all our functions, it is giving energy to all our functions. The special function of Aditya is Chakshushat Suryaha, being the precisely of the eyes. Not only it generally blesses the Pancha Pranas, it is particularly blessing the Chakshusha Prana, Chakshusha Indriyam, that is the sense organ of perception. It is particularly blessing. Otherwise, without the light, you cannot see. Don't say electric light and all. Electricity also is supposed to be that energy's manifestation alone. Then Prithivyam Ya Devata. So whatever Devata is in the Prithvi, that is the cosmic manifestation. And what does it bless? Purushasya Apanam Avashtabhya. You have to supply Tishtati. That Prithvi Devata supports the Vyashti Apana. Aditya Devata supports Vyashti Prana. The Prithvi Devata supports the Vyashti Apana. So, Purushasya Apanam Avashtabhya. Avashtabhya means holding, supporting. That's why Apana is at the lower level. Otherwise, because the Udana is constantly pulling things upwards, Apana will go upwards. Then there will be Shankaracharya, right? Lot of problems. Therefore, if we are stationary down, it is only because of Prithvi Devata. You may call scientifically gravitational force, but this has been expressed in another form. Remember, gravitation la apparam vandhude. Already here the Prashnopanishad says, the Prithvi alone, by holding on to Apana, keeping the person on the ground, otherwise the Udana would have taken like a hydrogen-filled balloon. We all would have been flying. Then comes the Samana and Vyana. I have given the general definition. The exact meaning I will give you in the next class. Hari Om Purnamadah Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaja Purnameva Vasishyate Om Shanti Shanti Shanti.